This is the Creative Boom podcast. We chat with loads of people how they got into graphic design, but we never expect anyone to admit that it was a dislike of their own handwriting that would set them off on this creative path. For Alison Haigh, this was certainly the case. On realising computers were the answer to crafting neater typography, she fell in love with design, and today is design director at Accept and Proceed, a respected studio based in London that's behind identities for Dickies and campaigns for Nike. Alison has had quite the journey to get here. After graduating from the University of Brighton in 2009 at the height of the global economic crisis, she had internships at NB Studio, Small and various other agencies. It was typical of that era. Jobs were scarce and Alison did all she could to get onto the ladder. Her determination paid off as she landed her first role at Nelson Associates. She later joined Proud and spent 3 years building skills and experience there before securing a dream role at Wolff Olins as senior designer. In 2018, she became part of the team at Design Studio, but 2 years later found her way back to a smaller agency via Accept and Proceed. After spending 11 years in the creative industry, Alison realised there wasn't much support out there for the difficult middle, that part of our career between graduation and the top of the ladder. So in 2019, she launched the Middle School to provide honest advice and practical skills to designers in the middle of their careers. By helping more people to stay in the industry, realise their potential and become better leaders, Alison hopes it'll be a small step towards tackling wider industry problems around diversity and mental health. In this episode, we talk about this and much more, including how she feels the industry is becoming more honest and vulnerable and why that's such a good thing. Stay with us. Do you ever wish you could turn your iPad into a drawing tablet by mirroring your favourite desktop apps? Astropad Studio is an app that does just that. It's a clever solution for professional artists, designed to give the flexibility of an Apple Pencil combined with the full desktop power of software like Photoshop and Illustrator. If you're ready to take your creative workflow to the next level, you can start your 30-day free trial of Astropad Studio today, plus save 10% on your first year when you enter the promo code BOOM at checkout. That applies to whether you opt for a monthly or an annual subscription. Visit astropad.com to get started. Hi Alison, thank you so much for meeting me here in your beautiful dark ember hotel room here in Birmingham.
Thanks for coming and seeing me. It's quite a weird place to be doing this.
I know, exactly. And you get to be my guinea pig. I get to test all my sort of new gear out on, and we've gotten really sophisticated now. We have floor stands and posh microphones. What's going on?
So fancy.
I love it. I love being able to come out and meet people again. It's just so glorious after the time that we've had.
I mean, the last 2 days I've been at 2 in-person conferences, and it's just amazing being able to see everybody again in the flesh and meet up with new people and just kind of hang out with everyone again. And the events have just had such a kind of positive buzz about them.
I bet they have. And I bet it's been just lovely sort of leaning around, looking around the kind of crowd and then suddenly spotting somebody that you used to work with somewhere. Or yeah. I bet that's just been magical.
Yeah, it's been one of those benefits of COVID that I got to meet quite a lot of people that weren't based in London and were based in other places. And we've never had the chance to actually meet up. And at events like this, being able to kind of meet pretty much all of them in one night, it was very surreal because you get talking to people so much that you feel like you do know them, but you forget that you have never actually met in person.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice to finally be able to say hello and have a hug.
It's so nice. But did you have any of those awkward moments where somebody came up to you and they were like, Alison Haigh, and you didn't know who they were because they've got some kind of weird, obscure Twitter profile, so you've never actually seen their face?
Luckily not.
That happens quite a lot, doesn't it? Or it used to back in the day when, you went to these things and you kind of when we all loved Twitter, when we were all on there a lot more than we are now, I suppose.
Yeah. I think we've gotten over the feeling really squeamish about having photos of ourselves. So I think more and more people are putting that up. So it makes it a little bit easier at these things.
Yeah. Were you feeling a little bit kind of emotional? Was it, holding back the tears a little bit last night? Or am I the only ridiculous over emotional person?
I mean, I think I was all right. It was just a nice warm glow. And yeah, it was really good to be back.
How do you feel when you get up on stage and you do these talks? You know, is that an honor to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I secretly love it. I'm not usually, I'm quite quiet in my day to day, but then I love doing talks because I feel like we spend all our time kind of communicating on behalf of other people, that it's pretty much our only opportunity to kind of own the narrative ourselves and kind of say whatever we want to say.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just love to kind of get up there and think about like, how can I try and help someone out today in some way? Or like, how can I try and make people feel a bit better about maybe where they're at and what they're doing? And I think it's a nice way not to freak yourself out about giving a talk that way. If you get up and just think about like, how can I do this for someone else versus, oh my God, what if I do something wrong or something like that? So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's lovely to be able to share what we've learned with other people. And you do that quite a lot, don't you? You've kind of like looked around at the industry and seen, actually, there's a space here, there's a gap where I could maybe give back a little bit and do something for those of us that are in the middle. And you've come up with this amazing thing called the Middle School, which basically teaches designers and creatives what to do in the middle of their careers, you know, and because there isn't a lot of advice out there on that, like, you know, lovely little middle ground.
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. The industry puts a lot of time and money and attention into helping out new talent joining the industry. But it felt like there's this huge period of time in the middle where things totally changed. Like you got into this profession because you love designing, and in a lot of places, the more senior you get, the less design you actually do. And it's more about kind of dealing with clients more or managing teams. And there's lots of other kind of skills and things we need to have the opportunity to talk about with each other, because it does get really hard at times.
Yeah.
And there isn't really an instruction book on what to do and what not to do. And if you've been lucky, you've had amazing kind of people ahead of you that you can look to and see how they did it. But every studio is different, and some people get opportunities to get training or to have more role models around, and other smaller studios that might not be the case. And it just felt like I wanted to do something to make sure that other people kind of knew that other people felt the same way. And there are some tips and tricks people have picked up along the way that they can share, and just a place to have really honest conversations about things.
Definitely. I think as well, you know, I mean, it's like when you're in agency life, people don't really tell you unless you kind of speak up or know, in many cases, what are the right questions to ask, you know? And so it's great to be able to guide people and say, okay, so you've been in this, you know, profession for a number of years. What else can you do to progress, you know, to become a really good leader, to manage a team, how to keep people motivated during a global pandemic, all these kind of important things that you yourself are learning. You know, you're learning how to look after people. And that's not easy, is it, when you've got so many different personalities and everybody's individual. Yeah,
and it's kind of one of those things where we're learning how to design. Like we've always got Apple Z. You can always just go and like undo what you just did. But when you're dealing more with people and trying to get used to having those difficult conversations or things like that, you can't Apple Z it. Like
no,
what you've just said is going to have an impact on that person, and it can feel really heavy and it can feel really scary. But I think the more that we all talk about our own experiences getting used to that, you kind of understand that you are going to mess it up. And as long as you're just always acting with kind of the best intentions and you apologize if you do something wrong and you kind of own it, I think that's okay. Like it's the only way we can learn to do this stuff. And
absolutely.
Otherwise people avoid it. And then you get in a situation where people don't give other people feedback, or they ignore having the difficult conversations they need to have. And that's not really good for anyone, really.
No, and it's also not obviously going to help you progress in your career, because, you know, your kind of boss, your manager, whatever, is going to be looking for those signs that you have demonstrated you're capable of that next role, that next step up. If we could sort of say what the kind of job roles are in a design studio like Accept and Proceed, where do you start? What's the role, and then how does it progress?
So people come in as designers, then will progress to a midweight designer and then a senior designer. Then we have created a role called principal designer,
Right.
for people that maybe don't want to move into more of a managerial role and actually want to stay more on the tools. But it's also a really good kind of, I guess, training ground in a way to becoming a design director, because it's the same kind of role, but without the line management responsibilities.
Right.
Or maybe you take on one person to kind of line manage. And then we have design director, creative director, ECD.
So there's ways you can build yourself through an agency, and it's great that you're sort of recognizing that sometimes people don't really want to manage people, and I get that. I've done it myself. I didn't really enjoy it. I prefer to be closer to the work. What kind of a personality are you? What do you prefer to do?
I think I really enjoy the role I have now, being more of a director and kind of playing a part in kind of the concepting and just kind of helping the team like guide the process along. I feel like I know my limitations as a designer, and I feel like my kind of passion, excitement is really in the kind of research and the upfront and the kind of trying to figure out what that little nugget of truth is that we're going to build from and that kind of thing. And there's far better on the tools people that will make something incredible. And I really like kind of helping guide that and giving them the space to kind of go and explore and work that way.
Yeah.
I think that works well for me.
Yeah, that's good. It's good that you can recognize that and tap into that, and then it kind of informs your career. Was there any kind of themes that you got out of last night and that you kind of sort of spotted? It must have been so lovely being back in a room with people. And
yeah, and I think that I feel like people are just becoming more honest in their talks, which I really appreciate. It feels like people are moving away from the trying to be super slick and just show the final thing. And people are, I think, opening up more and more about their process and just being honest about the fact that sometimes this is hard and that no one nails it every time. And I really appreciate that kind of honesty in what people are saying now.
Yeah.
It's kind of starting to move away from the clicking through your portfolio. We did this, we did this, we did this. And yeah, giving people a little bit more insight. And I think that's great that people are moving towards that.
And that's going to help people in the middle as well, isn't it? It's going to take away some of that kind of career anxiety. Oh God, I'm never going to be as good as accept and proceed, or whatever. It's that kind of, oh, okay, I can learn from this and I can relate to that. And it's just going to make everybody feel better. Strange how it took a global pandemic to sort of, shave off a few of the layers of ego. And
and I think it's also because there's a move towards other people in the agency getting the opportunity to speak as well. So it's not necessarily always the people at the top now giving the talks. And I think that really kind of gives a different perspective. And I think that's really appreciated by everyone that's in the audience.
Definitely. When I first started this podcast 2 years ago, I remember interviewing a couple of people that had just graduated. And, there was a subconscious thought, they haven't got a lot to say yet because they're only just getting started. But actually they did, and it was lovely. And they were amongst the most popular episodes that came out, which I found fascinating, which shows there's an appetite for, there's a certain, people kind of shy away from the bigger names actually on the podcast and are actually more interested in hearing from people they've not heard about before, which is gracious and wonderful. Yeah. So I think it taps into that as well.
Yeah, and I think that especially when you're trying to give advice about graduating or kind of being at that stage in your career, talking to the people who've literally just done it is probably more useful than the people that did it 20, 30 years ago, because things have changed massively. And I think that everyone's experience is valuable and worth sharing. And I think the more that we get everyone kind of talking, the more everyone will kind of get a better picture of what the industry is really like now.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just thinking to myself then, God, it was 20 years ago when I graduated. And I'm like, oh God, there must be just a completely different world. You just think what's happened technology wise in that time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask how old you were in 2000 when I graduated.
Well, I graduated 2009, so I wasn't too far.
Not too far behind. That was when Creative Boom started.
Cool.
So yeah, 13 years ago, gosh.
Yeah.
And how did it feel back then graduating, gosh, on the heel of a global economic crisis?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was definitely, I think, I was watching the news one day and they called us the generation of no hope.
Oh my God.
Which isn't really what you want to hear at a time when you're just going out to try and find your first job.
Yeah.
But I think that I'd luckily plucked up the courage to apply for some internships in between second and third year.
Right.
And I think that really kind of helped me out in terms of understanding a bit about how the industry is and working within it and making some connections. So luckily, I think that gave me the confidence to kind of feel like, okay, we can do this. There is a way, like this will be okay. And luckily I landed my first job. It was outside of London as well. So that was quite handy at the time because it meant I could stay at home, save some money, and then kind of make the move to London after that.
Brilliant. And just build some experience, start making some contacts, and then eventually go into the capital. And was it important to be in London back then for you when you were sort of dreaming of design and being part of this industry?
I think not specifically London for the sake of it being London. I think it was just aiming to kind of always be looking at kind of where the studios I really admired were. And at the time, quite a lot of them were in London. So I was always kind of hoping that could happen.
Yeah. You mentioned the word hope a lot there. I feel like after everything that we've all been through in the last couple of years, we're at a sort of stage where, I don't know, I might be putting words into your mouth, but we're all exhausted. The world feels very kind of dark. Our cost of living crisis, everything that's going on. And so hope is a word I keep hearing being thrown about. We're all trying to cling on to hope. Is that something that you kind of resonate with?
Yeah, I think it's super important because I feel like that's what's going to keep questioning how we're doing things, how we can make things better. And I feel like we all need to believe that this can get better, and that's going to keep fueling us to keep exploring and keep trying new things. And I think that's also one of the main thoughts behind the middle school is I just remember going to work one day and it had been like quite a hard week. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, this is so hard. Like, maybe I'm in the wrong career. Maybe I can't do this. And the reason it's called the middle school actually is because that morning, Spotify decided to throw The Middle by Jimmy Eat World at me on shuffle, which is a song I used to love before, but never really in my emo teenage days, but never really listened to the words before. And that morning I kind of heard them for the first time. And it's all about the fact that everything's going to be okay. You're just in the middle of this. Like, things are going to work out. It's not as bad as you think it is. Yeah. And it was just such a comforting thought. And in that moment, it was exactly what I needed to hear. It's like, oh, it's not that I can't do this. It's just we're in the middle of it and it's hard. Yeah. And we can figure this out. So I just wanted other people to kind of have that feeling of just that reminder of, no, you're just in the middle of it. It's all right. Like, we can get through this.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's just kind of keeping that hope alive, because I think it's in the moments when you start to lose that hope, I think that's when we lose people from the industry, or people go, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe it was just...
Do you think that is the case? Do you think quite a few people leave design because they get disheartened and it's just, they realise it's not for them?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that it's another reason why with the middle school, I'm so kind of focused on leadership skills. And I feel like if we can make everyone in the industry a better leader, it would be better for all of us. And then more people may hang around a bit longer, or even I want people to understand all the different options within this industry, that how much job roles change, or how you can maybe just branch off into another area. Like, there's a very set path of kind of junior, mid, senior, design director, and a lot of people follow the same path. But I think more and more people are opening up to looking at different job roles or looking at things in different ways. And I think it's good to have that as an open conversation with everybody. So maybe if something isn't working out for you, it's, are you in the right studio or are you in the right job role? Not, you just can't do this, which I think some people feel at times. So
I think they're speaking up a bit more as well, aren't they? And I think that's a result of recent times. Kind of having the permission to ask for what you want. Saying, well, actually, I'm not really enjoying this role. Can I maybe do more of that? Because I really love that and I'm good at that. But that's a scary thing to do, isn't it? To approach your kind of boss and say, actually, I'd rather do this. Because you don't want to sort of say, well, I'm not really enjoying my job. Because you don't want to look ungrateful and you worry about how that might affect your place in the agency. So it's kind of figuring out how you achieve that without, setting yourself back. So I can imagine people get stuck. And I've never worked in the design industry. I've worked in the PR and marketing world. So it's a similar kind of path, similar ladder. And gosh, it was a long time ago since I worked there. But yeah, how does somebody in the middle, when they're sort of realizing they are going through this kind of difficulty and it's challenging and they feel like it's just a slog, what has worked for you in getting out of that kind of thinking? And
I think it's really important to have a little support group that you've got in your life and you can kind of talk about this stuff with, because I've had moments where I've got feedback or a review that wasn't great or something like that. And I just know that having that group of people that you go and just let it all out and just kind of talk it through and get some perspective, because it feels like sometimes you're just hearing one person's opinion. And it's nice to kind of just talk it out and really figure out the situation. But I feel like it's always really important for people just to keep meeting other people in the industry that are maybe doing other things or work in different types of studios, and knowing that you can reach out to other people and kind of, if you are ever feeling stuck, kind of either chat it through or see if they know of any other opportunities or something like that. But another thing as well with the kind of conversation about changing a job role or something like that, I feel like a good way people can bring that up is it's really just a conversation about your strengths. And surely your employer wants to kind of play to your strengths or play up your strengths, because that will just benefit them in the long run. So it feels like it's more framing it as a kind of positive conversation to say, I really love this and it feels like I could be doing more of this for this kind of benefit for the company. Is that kind of how Accept and Proceed is? Is it a great place to work? Of course you're going to say yes. Yeah, we're great. No, it really is. It really is a place where you can be very open about things, and we know that everyone just wants each other to succeed. And we are very open with things like that. For example, if we know someone's ambition is to go set up their own studio and leave, like we encourage them to kind of tell us that. Oh, and great. We know we will support them when they kind of move on and go and do their own thing. And I remember when I started, David, our founder, asked me kind of like, what does success look like at A&P for me? And speaking of getting emotional earlier, like that made me really emotional, because I feel like I'd been so focused on kind of fitting into other people's versions of success in the past. Yeah. And to have someone asking that just kind of at the outset, saying, what would make this kind of a success for you and what does that look like, was really appreciated. And I think that kind of speaks to the culture that we have, that we're always very invested in what we all think and how that shapes the agency, because I feel like we want to challenge kind of what an agency is and how it can run. And for example, we all went off to Yorkshire in January as a whole team to go and spend time focusing on the future of the business and what we want to kind of set our goals as and what we want to focus on. And that was great. That sounds very refreshing. Yeah. And especially after being apart for so long. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. I bet that was humbling. Yeah. And what did, may I ask, what does success look like to you? What did you say? I think at the time, I was like, it was a very odd time, because I joined a week after everybody left and went home for COVID. which is a bizarre time to start a new job. And I think I just said that I really wanted to get my love for design back. And I really wanted the opportunity to work on the types of projects that I'd never done before. And in the role I was in, I was just so excited to kind of meet everyone and kind of help them achieve what they want to achieve as well. So, yeah.
I suppose it's a really lovely place to work, because in any sort of studio or agency, it's where we grow up, isn't it? Our careers, it's where we sort of learn about ourselves. We learn about others and we really grow. You know, have you changed a lot since you were a kid? Has it sort of been a bit of an adventure for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that all the places I've worked at, I've always tried to go places where they do slightly different things or different specialisms or have different approaches. And yeah, I know for sure when I was younger, I was just so shy. And the thought of doing speaking, like doing talks and that kind of thing, and podcasts would have completely freaked me out. But going to places like Wolff Olins, where it's such a kind of admired skill, and they really kind of train you in how to present and give talks, and you're surrounded by people that are just incredible at it.
Yeah.
You get a lot of practice, and I slowly started to realize, I actually really like this. I mean, it wipes me out energy-wise. Like, I need to go and lay down for a while after doing something like that. But yeah, it's just kind of nice to kind of discover these different parts about yourself. And I feel that going to A&P as well is not only an opportunity to go and work with people that I think are just incredible at design. And I always think that you need to learn from the best. But in the past, I think I always looked at that through just a design filter. But I feel like it's go and learn from the people as well that are best at other things or that can teach you other things. So just the way that we appreciate people's time, and that you don't need to work horrendous hours to do good work, and they're teaching me that the more I look after myself, the more I can be there for other people, and to be more responsible in the work that we're doing, and kind of look out for the planet as well as ourselves, and even reconnecting with nature. I mean, I'm just haunted by memories of Duke of Edinburgh trips that just put me off building rafts. Put me off like walking around the countryside that much. But there's such a focus on that. And like when we went up to Yorkshire, we went and did forest bathing, and we went and like did meditation sessions together. And there's just such a...
Is this actually a place where you work, or is it just a big jolly?
Yeah, it's great. And it's like bringing that into what we do. So it's been so powerful to kind of... We do quite regular breathing sessions as a team as well, and bringing that into kind of client meetings, and just seeing the difference it makes when you're all breathing together and feel connected in that way. It's really fascinating, the difference it makes. And I feel like, yeah, I've not only kind of grown as a designer, but I feel like I've grown in myself, and kind of I really appreciate having that and being able to grow in different ways in a role.
Sounds like they put you out of your comfort zone quite a lot, and force you to become a family. You know, it's like, you know, but that is brilliant. You know, when people say things aren't getting better, or things are not getting better, it's like they are. You only have to look at what you're doing now in an agency compared to when I left, you know, the marketing world in 2007, I think. Yeah. And it wasn't like that. They would probably more likely be booze weekends for Christmas, and that would be it, you know. Yeah. But it's amazing that agencies like A&P are doing things like this, and recognizing, actually, if we invest in our people and recognize them as human beings, then they're going to want to come and work with us and do better work. And obviously it's not coming from that kind of shallow soul, well, we're going to make our workforce more productive by taking them into the forest and bathing, or, you know, it's actually a genuine, we want you to be the best you can be and be happy, and we're going to look after you. And it's just so amazing.
Yeah, we had pretty much the whole of last December off as well, because it was kind of realised throughout the whole team that the Christmas before and the Christmas before that had been completely screwed up because of COVID. And it was just so important for us all to take time and go have that time with our family and just kind of have a bit of a reset, really. So that was great to be able to do that.
How many are there on the team?
There's about 30 of us now.
Good grief.
Yeah.
And you all get on. There's no fallout. No politics.
No. But with as a team, we're just very open with each other, and people are opinionated, and I love that. I love the fact that people just feel they can. And we have very kind of open conversations about what we're doing and what we're planning to do with the team, and kind of getting everyone's input on that. So
that sounds like a very healthy culture.
Yeah.
Are there any jobs going?
There is.
I don't know if I've got any design skills. I mean, I redesigned the navigation bar on Creative Boom.
Perfect.
I could come and do some copywriting.
Yeah. Done.
Okay, sorted. Are you going? Do you conduct interviews?
Yes.
Oh, do you? All right.
Do.
Okay. Should we do one now? When it comes to the very tools we use to be creative, sometimes they don't quite stretch enough to meet our needs. If you're a professional artist with an iPad, you'll know only too well some of the limitations you face when trying to make your art. Astropad Studio is something that will definitely spark your interest. It's the ultimate iPad app that's designed to give the flexibility of an Apple Pencil combined with the full desktop power of software like Illustrator or Photoshop. Sound good? There's a 30-day free trial of Astropad Studio waiting for you today. Plus save 10% on your first year when you enter the promo code BOOM at checkout. That applies to whether you opt for a monthly or annual subscription. Just go to astropad.com to get started. So, was Wolff Olins your first job in London?
No, my first job in London was an agency called Proud Creative. And it was great. At the time, we were focusing a lot on TV rebrands. Ooh. And I remember as a kid, I just was obsessed with watching MTV and watching Making the Video, where you got to see all behind the scenes and the director's treatments and how they kind of came up with stuff. And it felt like I was living my MTV dream, really. We were like planning out different TV idents and storyboarding them and kind of coming up with that, which is so different to how I kind of saw myself when I first left uni or my first job. I was like, I'm very much a print designer. And I just kind of felt like that's what I was good at or what I was doing. But I think it was just the only things I had experience of at the time. And if there's anything I've learned along the way now, like where I am at A&P, like you never know what's going to come through the door next. And you just have to realize that we're designers. We can kind of lend that thinking and way of doing things to pretty much anything. And just as long as you team up with the right specialists to kind of make it happen, you can kind of tackle anything. So I don't like to, I guess, define the type of designer I am anymore.
No.
But yeah, that Proud was incredible. It was a kind of small team, and it really taught me the kind of power of having just a core idea to build everything off of. And I think that was just so important to kind of have as a fundamental moving forward. And yeah, it was great.
Sounds it. You know, the craft remains the same. The channels will always change. And your career's been disrupted, as has mine, from the digital revolution, as they called it back then. And we've really had to adapt, haven't we? It's been terrifying at times, but always exciting and never a dull moment. So that's really interesting. So you were there before Wolff Olins, and
yes.
So what was it like when you got the job there? Because that's a massive name as well, and a much bigger agency. And I don't even know how many people work there, but it must be in the hundreds.
In London, there was about 100 people. Yeah. So going from a team of 6 to 100 was just a massive kind of, huge change. And it was kind of my first big introduction to strategy. And I just remember being sat in some of those first meetings, the first couple of months, and I just didn't understand what anyone was saying. And I was just very confused. But
That's just my life in general, to be honest.
But I learned very quickly that, and I got reminded of the fact that it'd be a good idea to say something from time to time.
Yes.
I think at that point I was still quite shy and still kind of quiet.
Yeah.
So I learned an important lesson about just asking questions. And like, if someone says an acronym you don't know in a meeting, just ask, because there's someone else in that meeting is probably thinking exactly the same thing and they don't know what it is.
It takes courage, doesn't it, to speak up in a room like that, in an agency as big as that, when you feel a bit out of your depth, I imagine.
Yeah. But you have to, otherwise you can't join in the conversation. And nobody minded. Nobody cared if I was there and I just said, sorry, what did you mean by that?
Great.
Because that meant I could get involved and I could get my opinion in the mix with everybody else's, and I wasn't just sat there not saying anything. So that really unlocked the world of strategy for me, and I love it. It's just like just seeing the power of what can happen when you bring together strategy and design and get everyone working together, and having access to the people at the very, very top of some of the world's biggest businesses. Like, the change that can happen with those conversations is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the most exciting parts of being at Wolff Olins. It's just, as a group of people, we're just kind of optimistic for the world and what can happen, and realizing that we can kind of help push things, hopefully, in the right direction and get people out of their comfort zones, and really harnessing the power of what design and strategy can do when they work together.
Can you remember the first question you ever asked and who it was to?
Oh God.
When you finally felt the confidence to speak up? And
I can't remember.
Oh gosh. I remember being in meetings in my early career, and there was this girl that used to sit next to me, and she would draw penises whilst the client was on the on the speakerphone.
Yeah.
So everybody would be trying to stop giggling. I mean, it was a completely different world. And whereas, you're in this kind of fantastic agency, actually engaging and completely different experience. So did you stay there long? Was it?
I was there for about 4.5 years.
Gosh, that's good. Good on the old CV.
Yeah.
You're not a kind of hot stepper?
No, not really.
And was it nice then to sort of, was it A&P that you went to after that? No. Oh gosh, you've had quite the...
Yeah, I went to design studio after Wolff Olins.
Right.
And it was great to I think Wolff Olins kind of taught me the power of being in those boardrooms and having those conversations. But I think design studio was great at reminding me of never to make any assumptions about things, and that you have to just kind of be on the ground, getting to know people, getting to know the product, getting to know the kind of market that you're working in, because there's such a focus on immersion and really understanding what happens, which is a great thing to experience because you get to travel around the world and go and learn a lot and meet a lot of amazing people. So that was an amazing opportunity to kind of go and delve in really deep to different clients' worlds. And it really just gives you that opportunity to find that little nugget or little passing comment from someone, or just that deeper understanding of what the experience is really like for everybody involved in that business. Yeah.
And they really immerse themselves. I mean, I heard more about what happened with Airbnb and how they sort of built their own kind of bed, was it? Their own kind of like let, and actually went through the whole process, and that impressed them so much they won the client. Very interesting. Were you there when that was going on, or?
No, I came later than that.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that must have been a while ago then. It's funny how the last couple of years has completely screwed up all our time.
Yeah, I've forgotten that 2 years happened, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot of us that are just pretending it didn't happen. Yeah. I mean, I look in the mirror and I'm like, hang on a minute, how come I look older? What's going on? I'm take me back to 2011.
Yeah, I think we've all just blanked it out, to be honest.
But. Yeah, I think so. But it feels like things are slowly starting to get back to normal. Do you find yourself having little mini panic attacks outside of shops and you think you've forgotten something? Or is that just, am I just the only weirdo? I'm reaching for sort of common ground here and you're just leaving me hanging, Ali.
What's freaking you out?
I don't know. It's just I'm not scared of anything or anyone. It's just I'm like concerned I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting my head around the fact that masks have gone and and that's okay. But if I see someone wearing one, I literally leap out of their way. I will literally do a kind of, Michael Flatley across the shop floor, just out of respect.
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
It's coming back. It's coming back to normal. Slowly but surely. And you got a sense of that last night at Birmingham Design Festival. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it. So Design Studio must have been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's a very fast-paced place. And yeah, just the way they kind of throw themselves into the projects is just incredible. I feel like as graphic designers, we'd all be incredible at pub quizzes because we've just picked up all this knowledge from all these different places about all these different industries. And yeah, there's some obscure knowledge in our brains, I think, from this job.
Oh, it's never boring. This is the thing you don't realize when you say you want to be a graphic designer and you go into that world. You don't realize that actually you're going to be no kind of week is going to be the same as another. It's always going to be exciting and fresh and interesting. And yes, there's going to be a lot of slog and there'll be times when it's really sort of probably boring. I don't know. Is that true? Sometimes when you're sort of stuck in something,
Yeah.
and it feels like the project is not progressing as fast as you'd like, those kind of moments. But for the most part, yeah, you just get to immerse yourself in so many different things.
Yeah.
Keeps it interesting. Never looking at the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the way it should be. So being at Design Studio must have been great. I mean, being part of this huge machine. Did you sort of go to A&P because you probably wanted to get back to that kind of nice, smaller vibe that you had at Proud?
Yeah, I think a part of me was kind of ready to kind of go back more to that world. And I'd always been a fan of Accept and Proceed ever since I was at uni, really. And just the opportunity to be there with these designers that I just thought were completely incredible, but also a company that I could see is trying to make a really positive difference and to really rethink how a studio works.
Yeah.
That's just so exciting. And to be a part of that and just learn from these people and kind of be a part of this changing kind of culture that we had going on. It was, it was a very quick decision, I think, on my part.
That's great. So you would you say you're in the middle still, or are you very much? You would. Okay.
Yeah. So my when I'm classing the middle to people, I say if you're about 2 years in and 2 years away from retirement, you're in the middle.
I love it. I would say that's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think any of us really leave the middle, do we? Because we're constantly learning, constantly growing. Things change all the time.
Yeah.
Just when you think you're sort of settling into something comes flying at you and throws you off your feet.
Yeah. And that could be at work. It could be in your personal life. Like things just happen and you never know what's going to happen next. And I think that I really want to make sure that with the middle school, it gives people the opportunity to have conversations about other things that are going on as well and mental health and things like that, because there wasn't really that many safe spaces within the industry for people to discuss topics like that. So
no, I mean, gosh, even just 20 years ago, if you brought up that you were feeling overwhelmed, you would be probably looked upon unfavorably and considered a kind of, a dead weight, something that was maybe in line for the let's try and get rid of this person as quickly as possible type thing. And that's the attitude of certainly things I've experienced in my kind of career. So now that everybody's talking about the mental health, I find that baffling, but also fantastic.
Yeah.
Is that something you're very open about at A&P as well?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that I've had very good role models of that at other people at other places as well. And I think the more open we all are and talk about things, like the better it's going to be for people. And we can kind of, help change the way that the industry approaches these things, because it's such an issue in the creative industry that we can't ignore it, really.
It's a relief as well, not to hear other people are suffering, but to understand that actually we're all so similar.
Yep.
And actually there's nothing special about the biggest graphic designer in the world. And they might create brilliant stuff, but they still go through the same suffering like we all do, like imposter syndrome occasionally. And that kind of sudden, do you ever get that sudden anxiety where you just don't know what you're anxious about, but you're just anxious? You're just like, shit, I'm worried. I need to be worried. What am I worried about?
Yeah. That's when I really recommend doing breathing exercises. That's what it comes in handy for sure.
Definitely does. I mean, gosh, you realize as well, sometimes when I'm talking to, say, my husband or my friends or even my mother-in-law the other day who's moving house, you can hear the tension in the throat. And I just recognize it more now in other people because of, age and wisdom. And I'll just say, can I just interrupt you? Can I just interrupt you? Mom, breathe. And she will as well. She'll just stop talking and go, oh. I said, yeah, you sound stressed. Just chill. And, this woman's phenomenal. She's in her mid-60s. She's still working. She's a smart consultant and she's moving house. Yeah. And you can imagine how, challenging that is at that stage in life.
Yeah.
When you've got so much stuff. Gosh. So, yeah, I think to be able to talk about these things and not try and put on this front is refreshing, definitely. And I think also very healthy. We need to be showing younger creatives that everything they're going through is normal and that even their design heroes go through the same, even 30 years into their career.
Yeah. It's like we are all people. And I think that's why I really appreciate the fact that talks are getting more honest and people are kind of not pretending to be these superstars or rock stars. It's just like, no, we are just all the same and we're just at different phases on our journeys. And
yeah. It's nice to see. It's great when you see somebody you admire say, do you know what? I sometimes struggle. This is the way it is. This is the way it is for all of us. Yeah. What's London like to live in? Because London to me is just a fascinating, machine, isn't it really? It must be great to be immersed in that world for networking, for inspiration, for your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably almost made the most out of London more when I wasn't living in it. I feel like when you're living in it, you sometimes just get used to it or get used to everything being on all the time and things like that. Whereas when I used to come up to London when I lived just outside, you'd kind of have these big weekends that you'd build up and fit loads of stuff in. Whereas it feels like for quite a lot of the time I lived there, maybe I haven't made the most of it. But now with Accept and Proceed getting our 9-day fortnight, so we get every other Friday off.
What?
Yeah, so we get the chance to go and explore. And to be honest, I've been to so many more exhibitions in the last 2 years than I have done.
Does AMP make any money?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. So hang on, so 9-day
fortnight.
Wow.
So the whole company is off every other Friday.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So rather than just, do you remember the old culture? What was it? Beer pong on a Friday and table tennis. Oh, great.
Yeah.
But actually, this is an agency that's doing something valuable.
Yeah. And we appreciate the fact that people may need that time to go to galleries and things like that. If they have kids, maybe it's harder to do that at the weekend, or if they want to go and see a show or something like that. And as a team, we try and arrange some kind of group outings together, like maybe once every other month or something. But kind of that day is up for you to do what you want with. If you just need to have a rest and sleep, just sleep. If you want to hang out with your family, hang out with your family. Like there's no pressure to do anything on that day.
No.
It's what we need it to be, really.
So you live in London now and you've been there for a couple of years. How long have you lived in the city?
12 years.
12 years. Okay. So not just a couple of years, actually a good chunk of your life so far.
Yeah.
Did you get the kind of urge to leave London during the pandemic like a lot of people did? Did you have an urge to buy a van and convert it and go around Europe?
No, I was actually... Actually, during the pandemic, at the time I lived in a 3-bedroom apartment, and both my housemates moved out from the pandemic.
Oh.
So I had the place to myself. And I think that was actually when I realized I was ready to move out and have my own place. So that kind of changed things up for me during the pandemic, because I'd been, with housemates the whole time. And it kind of gave me the push I needed to go and get my own place, which has been great.
Fab.
Yeah.
And now you're in a part of London, which is charming. You were telling me earlier that you get to see weddings happening.
I'm in Bethnal Green now, which is funnily enough around where my family were originally. So my mum was working in Shoreditch when she was like 15, and she always says about getting the number 8 bus to go and see her aunt and whatever. And like, I live on that bus route now, so it's quite funny that we've all kind of ended up back in the same place.
What did she do?
I think she was just working in an office at the time. I think she was like 16, 15. So
wow. So a typist. And good grief. That's amazing. It's nice to be able to sort of go back to somewhere that's like familiar to your family, and you're sort of walking the same haunts and streets as your parents. And that's really nice. It's nice to know that you feel at home there and you're happy and you're doing really well in your career. And is there anything that you feel like you haven't yet achieved? There's
a lot. There's so much to do and so much more I want to do, especially with the middle school, like kind of getting that back on its feet after the pandemic, and kind of really wanting to get back into doing more in-person events again. And I started something called the lunch table during lockdown. So it's like the simplest concept of all time, but basically I just spend my lunch on Zoom with 3 people at random that sign up for it. And just in a little group, we just have lunch together. And the idea is that everyone brings a question to the table. So you can ask everybody their opinion or want to know something. And
so good.
Because there's no control over kind of who's going to be there.
Yeah.
You never know. And you always find these really nice connections between people, or it's been great. It just reminds me of being at Wolff Olins, because we had such a culture of having our kind of canteen, and we had our chefs there. So everyone ate in the studio, and the idea was that there was lots of tables, so you didn't know who you were going to sit next to every day. And
that's great. It
just made sure that everyone was chatting to everybody. And it's kind of something I wanted to recreate in my own little digital way, especially during lockdown, because there's lots of people just sat in their bedrooms not really talking to anyone at lunchtime. So
it was a lonely time.
Yeah. So, the lunch table was born, and it's so fun. It's great.
It's great. What kind of questions are people asking?
I mean, it's generally just kind of advice on kind of where they're at, or, I mean, I use it as well to talk to people about the middle school and what they kind of want out of it as well.
That's valuable.
Have a captive audience. I might as well ask what they think.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
And what kind of themes are they sort of asking about? You know, is it promotion and how to get noticed? And
it's I'm trying to think some of the things that came up. So around like how do you progress, or like how would you look to move the studio, or kind of how do you have difficult conversations with people, and
how do you know when, if you're working at somewhere as big as design studio Wolff Olins, how do you know when it's the right time to leave, or whether you should leave, given that you're in such an amazing place? Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people get stuck in places for that very reason. And I think you know deep down when it's time. It feels like when you feel like you're not really learning anything new, or you're not kind of getting any new opportunities, maybe that's the time to think about it. But I always think that try and make the most out of an experience before you end it. So if you feel like you're not getting those opportunities, ask for them. And if you're still not getting them, maybe it's time. But to try and just get the best out of it before you leave.
Yeah, listen to that gut.
Yeah.
How many times have you not listened to your gut and regretted it?
I think it's pretty loud.
Brilliant. You just
I think
know.
I'm generally, I generally know.
I mean, we've talked about like your career and everything, but I've never really sort of asked you how you even got into graphic design. How did you get there?
I really didn't like my handwriting.
What?
Yeah, when I was at school, we were working on GCSE coursework, and I just really didn't like my handwriting. You remember when you're at primary school and they give you those like lines where you do your practicing of your handwriting?
Yeah.
I think I was really good at that, but I never evolved beyond that. So my handwriting looks really like childish still, and just like I didn't kind of get that.
The swirliness.
Yeah, I
well,
didn't.
this is something we share in common, my love.
Yeah.
It was kind of, you're sending me flashbacks of like these lines that we had to do, but I just rebelled, and mine are all not joined up and very kind of, so that was why you got into graphic design.
So I was like laying out all my GCSE coursework and things like that, and I just decided to start doing it in Photoshop Elements.
That's brilliant.
And so I started laying things out, and then became the one that's good with computers.
Nice title to have.
And I got involved with this organization called Millennium Volunteers around the time of the millennium. It was kind of set up to get young people volunteering their time based on their kind of skills and passions.
Yeah.
Which strangely actually led to them teaching me how to DJ. And then I travelled around the county teaching kids how to DJ.
That sounds fab.
Yeah, it was great. But aside from that, I used my, we'll put it in quotes, design skills at the time to help them come up with the different logos for their different initiatives and things like that. And so I feel like I'm very much still in debt to the charity sector for the crimes that I committed in that time, because I'm pretty sure there's some logos out there that included a photo in them, and just working in Photoshop Elements, not knowing what I was doing.
That's charming.
It's definitely produced some interesting results, but that really, I think, was my start in graphic design, and I'm happy to say I have improved since then. But
do you keep all that work from back then?
It must be somewhere. There must be some of it.
You've got to do a talk about that.
Oh God,
you have to. That'll be fascinating. Yeah. That'll like make other people feel okay. We're normal.
Yeah. Yep.
So did you go to university?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Brighton.
Oh, by the sea.
Yeah, it was great. It was such a nice place to go to uni, and our class was so small. Like there was only 36 people.
Nice.
In our year, and it was such a good course in terms of how you think and how you think about things. And I was lucky enough to kind of do the exchange over to Minneapolis, and went to the Minneapolis College of Art and Design for a while. Wow. And that was incredible, just to compare the two kind of education systems and how different they were, because MCAD is kind of a privately funded art school, and so they had 24-hour access to facilities and huge print rooms and photography studios and just the most insane kind of facilities. But there was very much more a focus on kind of learning the programs and doing that side of things, versus Brighton, which is very much how you think and things like that. So it was really nice to kind of compare the two and try out both. And
get to live in America for a little while.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
It was really good. It was something, again, I'd always dreamed of from watching MTV from a very young age. I'd always wanted to go to an American college or university and
I think we all
try
did.
it out. Yeah.
Lean against lockers.
Yeah.
Have a locker, be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't think I would have been a cheerleader. I think I would have more been hanging around behind the kind of, what are the stadiums, the American football?
Yeah, the bleachers.
Yeah, there you go. Probably smoking and getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, so that is interesting. I didn't realise. And do you miss Brighton? Do you still sort of visit, and have you got friends around there? And
yeah, I've still got some friends down there, and it's nice to pop back and kind of just chill out, get out of London for the day and just go and hang out on the beach and get a bit of fresh air.
Yeah, definitely. We all need a bit of that, don't we?
Yeah.
Gosh, after the time we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's interesting. So you got into design because you hated your own handwriting. There you go. You've heard it here first on Creative Boom. That's brilliant. I think that's a first, actually. Yeah. Other people are like, oh, I noticed it because the new, signs from a different country. And then I realised, or, oh, I was really into my kind of computer games, or I was inspired by crisp packets. No, I just didn't like my handwriting.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And it's funny how you connect the dots when you look back, don't you? So like looking at my A-level subjects, it was art, but I didn't do any kind of traditional painting. Mm-hmm. I was mainly doing photography or doing stuff on the computer. And although they wouldn't let me hand any of that in as like a final piece, they're like, you have to use a traditional kind of material in a way. Oh. But I kind of found a loophole and I spray painted my final thing instead of actually trying to paint, because I cannot do it. There's a reason I work in geometric forms. That's because that's generally my skill set. But yeah, it was, yeah.
So as we are approaching 2023 now, gosh, do you have a lot of hope? Are you kind of like feeling optimistic about the future and what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like I'm with a bunch of people that are all equally excited about that. And we're kind of actively finding ways to try and make things better. And I think if you want to feel hopeful, surround yourself with those people. And it's just exciting to think about what we can all accomplish. And now that everyone's had this time to stop and think and reflect, like, what are we all going to go and change and make better, really?
Well, that's something to leave you thinking about. Gosh, what can we do to make the world a better place? Well, thank you so much for your time, Ali.
Thank you.
It's been really lovely.
Thanks for having me.
If you'd like to learn more about Alison Haigh, you can find everything you need in our show notes via creativeboom.com/podcast. That's where you can also hit subscribe and enjoy fresh episodes from us every Monday morning. Thanks again to our sponsor, Astropad Studio, the ultimate iPad app for professional artists. If you want to give it a go, you can start your 30-day free trial of Astropad Studio right now. Just go to astropad.com. Don't forget, you can save 10% on your first year when you enter the promo code BOOM at checkout. Next time, I'll be speaking with acclaimed photographer Simon Wheatley. See you then.